Hello everyone, thank you for being here today. We will wait a few minutes before starting to give everyone the time to connect smoothly. Just a few more seconds and then we will begin. Okay, I think we can go now. Hi everyone, I'm Margot from Marketing at Filigran. Thank you for joining us today for our community call. Today we'll be talking about AI in OpenCTI with two incredible speakers, Samuel Hassine, CEO and co-founder of Filigran, and Constant Bridon, VP of Data Engineering.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Thank
For
you,
those
Margot.
who might be, sorry.
No, I
For
just said
those who
thank
might
you,
be
Margot.
new. Okay. So Community Call, it's a live event where we answer questions from our community. We received a few questions in advance, and we'll start by addressing those. And then if you have any additional questions, feel free to drop them in the chat section at any time. We will answer at the end. The session will last between 30 minutes to 1 hour, depending on the number of questions. Now let's begin with the first question, and it's an important one to kick off this call. What does AI represent for Filigran? And this one is for you, Constant.
Yes, I'll try to speak less than an hour on this specific question because there's a lot to say about it. So to start with, I'd say that AI for Filigran is an opportunity, but it's clearly not a goal in and of itself. I mean, we are not trying to pivot the entire company around AI and trying to do something around AI design features, but we are trying to design features mainly with AI to provide our users and customers with some value. So it's a bit of trying to use it as a tool to enhance the different features and use cases that we have and that we currently cover in our platform. So I'd say that it's difficult to say what it is in the sense that what type of object it would be, but it would be mainly features that would be from a pragmatic approach. I would love to have something that you know optimize different processes already existing, and certainly not replacing our users or even well customers in the broad sense. And to underline this pragmatism, I'd say that I'm really proud to say that the team I lead is actually named data engineering and not artificial intelligence, because in order to show that we want to make features, uh, I stand by the fact that AI is actually a part of data engineering and not the other way around. And yeah, that's the position. The idea is
And
to leverage data. Yeah,
yeah,
Samuel.
and Constant, what I like when we really like discussed the AI or like data engineering roadmap at Filigran, is we always reflect with you as tackling some use cases by using a mix of technologies,
Yeah.
whether it is LLM, AI, machine learning, whatever, like, because it's exactly like this, like choosing the best technologies to tackle the problems, and that like really like serve our customers.
Yeah, you're right. It's actually a tool to meet an end and not the other way around. So we need to know it, we need to master it, but it's not an end of itself. It's a tool. So we're trying to leverage it to address the different use cases that we have. And I guess we're really aligned on this point together. Do not
Thank
hesitate to follow this question in the chat if it's a bit abstract or not clear enough.
Thank you, Constant. The second question, what does it mean for you to be a data-driven company, and how does AI fit into that journey? Samuel, do you want to cover this one?
Yeah, I think Constant will also like be able like to to add a few things here, but uh, the first thing is our products are definitely data products. OpenCTI is a knowledge base. OpenBAS is all about data. Is all about like your security posture and the data we gather from your human response, your endpoints, your postures, the results of the payloads. And OpenCTI obviously is also like a data product. But what does it means to be a data-driven company? It means that um, it's not like an ultimate goal to say, okay, everything should be data-driven, because we're always, as a company, we're always walking on the top of the mountain, where we have our community, we have our customers, we have our own KPI, our own data. Obviously it's helped us to take decisions, but at some point it's not like the ultimate things, but it should help us to better walk, I would say, that path, because that path since the beginning of Filigran, and always when I'm talking with partners, with customers, with investors, and everyone like talking about like how you're picking up your roadmap. Like we have like a 3, 4, 5 years roadmap for all the products. We have like so many things to do. Every time I say our positioning is quite difficult. Open source is not like something very, very easy, because we have like all the feedbacks from the community, all the feedback from the customer side. We have our own vision, obviously, and it's always like a very tight path that we're following when we're prioritizing stuff. And I think our product team knows that very well. So data should help us to walk that path, and that's is the most important thing. And maybe like how AI fit into our journey. It's obviously saving time for our customers. We have like uh, a lot of like issues and problems and challenges that our practitioners and our community has like on a daily basis using our products, and that's exactly where AI can help. And I think we'll develop that further in the future, in the rest of this meeting with Constant, about like how we're prioritizing AI features, how we are choosing the different like use cases we are tackling. But Constant, maybe you want to complete on that one.
No, I mean you said it all. I think it's deeply linked together. You have to be some sort of data-driven company to actually encapsulate AI in your processes and in your features. Because if you lose track of what it is to have the data following through with all your processes, at the end of the day, you will do something with an AI module or an AI feature that is not really relevant, that is not really used. So I guess it's like a two-step journey where we have to measure what we want to do, what we are actually doing, what's the usage, stuff like that, and we need to have this sort of mindset to, okay, I think something, but I need to make sure through the data that is the real state of what I'm trying to manage. And I think it's you said it, actually. AI is also a tool for us to help us being data driven, but it's also a tool for products to be even more data products. And I think we just need to uh, the word fit is actually quite good, because we need to find where is the small link where we have to put the AI to be relevant and useful, and not making it the end of the journey, but only the tool helping us on this path. So I guess it's it's a sort of mindset to say that we want to measure what we do, we want to be good at what we do, and we want to use all the tools that we have to do it the best we can. So AI is another tool in the toolbox.
Yeah, and I would like just also like to cut a few things here about, like, general discussion about, data-driven company, etc. Because actually we also chose the most difficult path. We are not a SaaS company. We have like customers on-prem. We have different tenants. When you deployed OpenCTI or OpenBAS in our cloud environment, it's one platform by customer, and obviously we're not gathering all those data to try like to do something with those data. At some points that we obviously we would like to be more like having like the ability to leverage the data we have at our disposal, but we're also very respectful, given like our positioning, given the on-prem, given the confidentiality of the data also of our customers. And that's not an easy path, because when you have like a SaaS platform where basically it's multi-tenants and all the data of all the customers are mixed, that is giving you like an over position where you have a lot of like platforms on-prem, air-gapped, and etc. So we have like to be very careful also about those data.
True.
Oh, thank you. Next question. Okay, this one is for you, Samuel. How does Series B funding accelerate your AA and data science initiatives?
Yeah, we'll talk about, and I saw your question, Craig, about LLM model, and the fact that we have like also like to bring that to our on-prem customer and air gapped customer, and we just talked about this with Constant about like custom models and what we're doing in that space, and that's also like the whole purpose of the Series B. So the Series B, obviously, I think there is an obvious answer to that. It's all about like resources, teams, HR, but also maturing our initiatives, because it's in the team, is in the Constance teams, but it's also in other teams in the product management aspect of this, and having like more capabilities, obviously, like to leverage LLM and to train some model and be able to choose the right technologies. But it's not only about LLM, as we already talked about. There's really the ability to choose the technologies, and it's really about accelerating our engineering. And I think I answered a lot of interviews about Series B and why we have done this Series B, and most of the thing is really about engineering. And I think the fact that we are doing data science at Filigran, obviously we have a full-fledged team to do that, and Constant is in charge of this, but it's also like a the very well responsibility of the full engineering team, including software engineering, platform engineering, and also product management. And so increasing also like the resources on in this team is quite important to our AI and data journey and data science initiatives. So that's one of the main priority of the Series B. I will not no, I think the best for this call is to more like focus on the use cases, because I think it's everyone is waiting for the different use cases and what are those initiatives we're talking about. But yeah, what I can confirm you, Margot, that is one of the main priority of this new fundraising.
Yeah, that's good news. Next question for you, Constant. What AI and data management features are available today?
Depends on what you mean by available, but just a quick recap, because that's interesting what you said earlier, Samuel, on the Series B, is that it comes now with the Series B to power up our engineering into AI, but it also so we are in the beginning of something that will be grand, but it took a bit of time with respect to the entire life cycle of the company. So the thing is, now a product like OpenCTI is to a level of maturity that is good enough for us to understand where it's relevant to put some data management and AI features. So we can't really say that they are really available per se, because they've been developed afterwards, after the maturity of the product. But some features are available. So Craig is mentioning the LLM locally hosted. So there's a bunch of features leveraging LLMs, the famous Ask AI button that helps you to make synthesis, make rephrasing, stuff like that. So this one is in the product and you can use it. And for other AI features, I'd say it's at the brink of being available. And maybe I can tease you a bit, because I don't know if there's any question on what's going on. But we're working a lot on easing the work of the analysts that have to extract information for unstructured data, mainly text data, to put it into what you call the knowledge base of OpenCTI. And this one is really close to be released. So I don't want to say much, because I don't want to create too much eagerness. But there's going to be a bunch of features around AI, and it's going to be spread across different milestones. And as far as data management is concerned, well, there are two sides of the coins, because this is something that we need to build inside the company too. So my strategy for this is actually to use what we need internally as a sandbox, and see how it goes internally before making sure that we are going to put them into the product. So I'm not really sure that it's relevant to tell you what we're trying to do in terms of data management internally. What do you think about this, Samuel? Do you want me to talk about this, or?
Oh no,
Not
I
really.
think I think we have like we'll have like the occasion to talk a little about all the use
Yep.
cases just after. But yeah, I will like give
Yep.
a few
Sure.
insights about
So in
what
terms
we will do.
of availability, that's pretty much it. What we have is Ask AI, and there's something coming for the beginning of the year for text extraction from entity extraction from text.
Thank you, Constant. The next question, how do you identify functional priorities for AI integration? What criteria do you use to select the use cases you focus on? So it's related to your answer, Constant. Samuel.
Yeah, definitely. So, and this was like, that question that actually we can bring like a few more insights about what we would like to do. But yeah, as we discussed since the beginning, the first thing is we do have data products, so we do have data pains, and data pains means needs answers. And the first criteria we're using for bringing AI to our products is, I would say, proactivity, because it's the master word of like the whole XTM approach. We want our products to be more proactive. So more proactive, meaning like a lot of things, meaning saving times, meaning reducing mean time to detect or mean time to response, meaning the platforms being able like to react on things before an analyst like put an eyes on it, put an eye on it, and all of this means like proactivity. So Constance said, okay, main pain point about like extracting, sorry,
Entities.
yeah, entities and structured data from raw data. That's one of the thing. And when we're talking about proactivity, it should be correlation across our data. It should be the ability for the platform to be to alert you when something is going on and you don't know about like that yet. And that's is the most important point. So this is why we are working on everything about like correlation, about alerting, about AI summaries, about trends within the platform, because this is exactly what we want to see. And if we talk about like the threat intelligence itself, or even like the breach and attack simulation itself, it's always about this. It's about you're tracking those threat actors, and what you want to know is those that actually is the behavior the behavior is evolving in a direction you didn't expect, or is your industry more targeted by a new threat actor that you didn't expect in your industry, in terms of TTPs, or even like in terms of security posture for open bass. So it's really everything about proactivity and solving pains. And in our industry we have like so many pains that can be solved by data management and data processes and AI, and we need to address those pains. um, that is also the fact that we don't want like we are very careful about the use cases we're bringing into AI, because we want to solve those pains properly. And when we discuss with Constant, just we want to avoid hallucination for LLM and etc. But we don't want, I don't know, talking about like the platform itself and having like some correlation. If we don't have like the sources, when you're working in cyber, you want to know why the platform is giving you that insight and saying, okay, you have this group that is really really important now, and it what's not important before. You want to know exactly why, and you want to be sure that the platform is not mistaken, because you will take decisions based on those insights. And since we want OpenCTI and OpenBAS to be platforms that can be leveraged to take decisions. That's not something we can just like, okay, let's ask a questions about, is this threat, trendy? And the platform saying, yeah, yeah, maybe, because you have that and that and that, but is it really relevant, to you, given your roadmap, given your organizations, given your industry? So we also have a lot of work to do within the platform to better understand the context of the customer, because everything the AI will answer is not just about the threat landscape, is also about like your internal context. And because depending on the organizations you are part on, your context is completely different, and the AI results and the correlation and what you're interested in is quite like different. So it's really about context and about pains and about proactivity, first of all. I don't know, Constant, if you want to add something on this, but
Yeah, that's it. And this is something really interesting in what you said, because sometimes by trying to use the wrong tool, namely AI, you lose some of the proactivity that you mentioned before, and the ability to audit what an AI initiative, what a model is giving you is most of the time crucial, especially when you have to make decisions based on what the model is providing you with. So this is we don't want to make lose time to our users, because mainly my job is to make sure that they I'm making them win sometime. So this is I guess it would be the main criterion, just to make sure that it's useful, it's used, and it's relevant with respect to a given task. So it's also really humbling, because you have to accept that something is not working, and you have to do it better. But yeah, but on the other hand, on my side, it's really interesting, because the playground is huge, with the different products and the different tools and the different use cases. So um, we are not short of ideas yet.
Yeah. Constant, do you think we can do magic or not? Like with the AI, like
Well,
yeah,
I don't know
we
if you remember, there's a movie and there's a book called Harry Potter, and he has an uncle, and at the beginning of the movie he says there's no such thing as magic. And actually there's a giant man with a giant beard coming, and of course there's magic. So yes, we will do magic.
Thank you. Um, okay, I think this one, a lot of people wants to know, what are your medium and long-term goals for AI?
Well,
Constant?
the goals. Well, the long-term goal, well, the only goal, because for Filigran, is that anytime someone is thinking about data and cybersecurity, there's a Filigran popping up in the head. So I wanna have I wanna lead the best team in cybersecurity and data, and I think we have uh, everything we need to make sure that we are in this position. But it's pretty hard to say goals, because, as I said before, I want to produce something that is useful for the products. This is not without the products and without the user using the products. Uh, I have no reason to exist in this company. So the goals is to just fit into these use cases, and in the medium term goals, it would be to make sure that we are fitting into the delivery process, and we have actual features running in the platform, and yeah, being part of a process. And I think, well, the strategy would be, because the playground is so huge, first is to identify within each product where it's the most relevant part to use AI in, for proactivity, for example. So for OpenCTI, we identify that it's pretty hard to extract structured data out of text data. So and it's a pain point that has been brought up by our users a lot of time. So okay, let's go on this. We have the scope, we can go on this. And then we're going to do something else for OpenBAS, and we're going to use the feedbacks to identify something that is new. And it would be stage one, just to have AI in the products. But my goal is to make sure that we have stage two, the ability to make sure that, because you work well on OpenCTI, thanks to the AI we are going to provide you with, it's going to be easy to work with OpenBAS and all the different tools that we're going to launch. Okay, so it's stage two. And then stage three would be, because you have so much connection in your different tools and it's easy to work and all that, it's completely easy to have different levels of information, to make the right decision on the different levels of decision. So there would be this part of structure, something like a bottom approach, um, small use cases, really well scoped for the medium goals, and then enrich the different products and the connection between products, and then have, commit to this vision of the XTM vision that Samuel talks so well about.
Yeah, and I think Jean-Philippe, our VP of Product Management, like is sometimes he's describing that very well as well. For having like the XTM, so the threat management suite that we're building, and especially OpenCTI as well, to become a kind of your daily assistant. And I think that's is the ultimate things. And you're right. It's starting with solving like the pains, like the exactly what you just describing. So the use cases that we have right now and that we know we have to solve for our customers, and then like iterating over like the stage 3 where you have this daily assistant that is proactive, that is testing your posture, generating payloads for you, etc., given your context and the different threats. And yeah, and when I'm talking about magic, obviously we have like we all dream about like an industry where you basically say, okay, I want to be protected about like ransomware, and the platform can just like pick up like the sources for you, and just like build the dashboard for you, build the alerting for you, build the payloads for you, and like testing that in open bass, and at some point like after half an hour you have an answer about you're good, like here is your remediation path, here is like the room for improvement that you have. I don't think we'll reach that goal like one day, because it's just like the vision, but it's where we need to go in terms of, okay, we need like our platform to understand better like the context more automatically, etc. Obviously it will comes with input from the organizations and the users and the customer when they're onboarded their platform, and when we're describing what is their context. But yeah, having like these daily assistants where basically you can handle your threats on a daily basis, that is where we have like we have to go. So it's perfectly matching what you just described, Constant.
Thank you, guys. Okay, our next question is okay. Okay, will there be an API to use AI from connectors and enrichments? Samuel, do you want to cover this one?
Yeah,
Or Constant, I
so
don't know.
yeah, no, I think Constant will complete about, because he's actually building all of this, but it's more, we always think in our product suites every kind of like components, and I think it can be a strength, and you have pros and cons, but it's we are always talking about like microservices, like connectors are small containers, etc. So we always try like to think our products very flexible and also like very modular, so you have like different modules, etc. So at some point AI is one of the components of our different product suites, that can be leveraged through API, that can be available in connectors, that can be available in enrichments, etc. It may not be the first step. Okay, when we're talking, for instance, about NLP, yeah, we're talking like natural language processing and extraction. Yes, we're talking about an API that can be leveraged by a connector, or that can be leveraged by over connectors. That is the main point. But that being said, we can also like think about an AI within the products to answer like some questions, etc. So we're always thinking that as a component that will serve multiple other components, but I don't have like any precise answers to that question. It will definitely depends on the features and on which AI and data engineering parts we're talking about.
Yes, if I just can, sorry, add a few more things. Uh, it's actually a trick question because it could be understood on different ways, but just because you said it, for the example of OpenCTI, the platform itself is actually the goal of the platform is actually to structure the data and put it into a specific format for you to play with it, have different graphs, and jump from one graph to another. So the proof of value of the platform is that you can structure the data the way you need to actually make those investigations. And to do this, it relies a lot on this mechanism of connectors to have import documents and enrichment documents and channel the data through the platform. So when I say that AI features must fit the delivery process that we have, this is specifically what I meant. I'm not going to say, well, I have a tremendous model to use to do this, but I don't want it to be used the regular way that it's on the platform. So this is actually, if you mean a connector using an AI result to put into the platform, this is actually what I'm doing right now on the feature that I mentioned before. And because we have actually to fit into this process to make sure that it's actually another string to the bow, another tool that we have to go to this goal to have structured data and at the end. So I'm not sure I got the question right, but actually yes, there will be API using AI APIs that we do, API that we find maybe somewhere else, but it's going to be at least part of connector and enrichment processes. Yeah. And Samuel, you said that you wanted to answer the
Yeah.
question right
Yes.
away, so maybe that's the right time. Sorry, Margot, if
No.
I'm taking your job. Sorry.
No,
Yeah.
it was more in the also like in the upcoming questions, but no, it's maybe just because we're talking about API and connectors, it may be like the moment to answer like to at least to Craig. Um, so Craig, like what you're talking about here is our Ask AI capabilities, which is right now relying on a standard model, whether in our cloud environment or on-prem, like you can plug that to ChatGPT or like to Mistral AI, and we're leveraging like more like the standard model to answer a very precise prompt, which is coming from the platform, but not really like leveraging all the data of the platform, just like the contextualized prompt, and and what we have in mind is to be able like to adapt that a little, just to be a little more precise. But to be honest, we don't have any target date to have like this model ready, because we're also thinking about how like to leverage more like natural language to ask questions to the platform, and I will explain exactly why we have that in mind, because I know Constant did that like previously, but it's more about like the kind of like people that are connecting to the platform. We'll just discuss that just after. So really sorry, but I don't have like precise answer to that, just because it's not a question of on-prem or not. It's more like a question about like building that kind of model, that is more like an ongoing work on our side. So this is for Craig, and for Pierre, about like AI capability in the investigation functionality. Um, to be honest, yes, that was one of the things I was thinking about, especially because it's not so far that we have like what we have today, which means that it should be not easy, but it should be something we can do wherever, like taking something that you have in the screen or that you have in your data, a subset of this data. We're not talking about correlation or about asking a very generic question to the platform. It's really about, okay, I have this thread or I have this graph. I can say, okay, this graph is having like this number of nodes, this number of entities, this number of relationships, and craft like a kind of like prompt, at least to help like the analyst. But that is the first step. The first step obviously is always to take what you have in the UI, like make that like more comprehensible for something, and summarize what you're seeing in the screen. That's just the first step. That's almost I would say it's not easy, but it's even like something you can almost do manually, like taking a screenshot or something like that, and trying like to put that in chat gpt. I'm sure you will have like some answers, maybe not very precise, but then like it's more about like the correlation, and that's the second and the first steps that Constant was talking about, that we're really thinking about. This is just, okay, it's not just about understanding the graph, it's about how we can help you in the investigations because the AI know what is in the rest of the platform. So I don't know if you remember, like some of you in the roadmap, when we started to introduce in investigation the number of nodes that is, the first neighbors, just to tell you, okay, don't double click on that nodes because you don't have like all, you don't have data, so it's just useless, or you have like a lot of data around that node, so please don't double click and just like filter it because you need to pivot on those data. But how we can use AI that is understanding better what is the data behind an investigation and guide you in this investigation about, maybe you should like, look at this because we saw something, because it's matching the correlation rules you have in your platform. That is what we're exactly thinking about. Difficult to say when it will be available, part of, maybe like the correlation engine and the roadmap we're presenting. But for me, the first step is quite like straightforward, like just understanding better a graph and or understanding better like the trends on a thread, etc., just given like what you have on the screen. And then like the second step is really like to leverage AI to guide you in your investigations, and that's completely something else, and it's all about like, proactivity for the analyst and saving time for the analyst.
Thank you, Samuel. Okay, this one is quite long. Is AI being leveraged to prioritize and provide more contextualized and focused threat intelligence for different customers? Constant,
Yeah.
floor is yours.
Yeah, floor's mine. Thanks. That would be the silver bullet, right? Having something that you can provide anyone with, and making sure that the like the context itself is taken into account. So yeah, this is something that we are currently working on. This is something that we know we have a good shot at making something useful, but it's also something really difficult because there's no one size fits all. There's no one model that would be relevant for any use case and any user of the platform to do this. So I like to have like a specific engineering mindset for this type of problem, and trying to cut it into smaller pieces and trying to find something small enough and scoped enough to make sure that it's working. So it's it's actually quite difficult, and the question itself is quite broad, but it's also linked with what Samuel just said before. Uh, we can work on small contexts, trying to improve what we're already doing, and trying to give a bit more information. But this is going to be in a really specific process to start with, to make sure that it's something that we understand, that we control, that is relevant. And for the second part of the question, what are the main drivers? I guess this is what we said before, just making sure that it's relevant, that it enhance the proactivity of the platform and the features themselves. Is machine learning used? Well, disclaimer, yes. This is mainly what we're talking about when we say artificial intelligence. There's many definitions, but yeah, there's going to be some modeling. At the moment, those models are quite simple. They are standard for the ASCII part, but there will be trained model. And actually, it's quite interesting that you mentioned non-supervised machine learning, because for the correlation part of it, this is something I'm currently working on with my team, because nice, because this is a part of the subject that has a lot to offer in order to look for weak signals. So I guess the question is too broad to give you specific answers, but yeah, the different axes of work are identified, and it's a mix of all of this. And of course, the end is to make sure that it fits this vision of an assistant that would be useful for you to make the investigations, to summarize the information, to make the good decisions. So we know this is on the path, and at the moment, it's only something that is in research. and not yet in development.
Thank you, Constant. Okay, the next one. Will it be possible to ask OpenCTI question in natural language and get fitter results? This one is for you, Samuel. Nice ad, by the way.
Yeah, this is why I put the hats for the last questions, because
Because
it's
this is
like
my gift, right? This is what you add to the roadmap.
no,
It
no,
will.
it's the gift for the community. It's the gift for the community. No, it's a very important questions. We had like a lot of internal discussions about these questions, and what we always talked about this because we have a lot of cybersecurity tools and platforms that are actually bringing that feature about how you can navigate and investigating operational and technical data using the natural language. And at some point it's in in a lot of cases it has proven to not be really efficient or not be really well, because you have a lot of like technical analysts that need to leverage very advanced query languages, and that is not always easy to turn that to natural language, and that's a fact. The main thing about OpenCTI, and maybe tomorrow in OpenBAS as well, and this is what we are also like seeing a lot in our community, is that we're not, let's say, a standard cybersecurity platform. You have very various populations that are using the platform on a daily basis. You can have geopolitical analysts. You can have very technical, malware analysts that are leveraging our capabilities to do sandboxing or to do malware analysis within the platform. You have like CISO or risk analysts that are, more like just want to understand the threat landscapes in their environment. And so, being able and the other thing is we were full sticks, and the fact is we some of those people, they don't really know by heard the sticks models, and our filtering and our query language is highly tied to sticks. And in our journey to more like democratize and making like CTI more accessible, we think that it may be a good idea to have like at least a first level of that feature to be able like to answer simple questions, because those simple questions, even like leveraging our current and existing filters and models, given like the sticks model, cannot be straightforward for those kind of people that are not very familiar with the stick standard, etc. So we think it can bring a lot of added value to people starting their journey, people not familiar with the sticks model, to answer simple questions that require today multiple clicks. And I will take like an example, like just what are the latest campaigns targeting the energy industry, in 2024. Right now in the platform, if you would like to know that, you would like to know like the filters, you have like to know that you have targets relationship between campaigns and this industry. You have to understand where to find this specific sector in the platform, where to click to the campaigns, and that is the kind of question that it can be easily turned, and the platform can answer to that question, and even just like generating the proper filters. So that's something we would like to do. But the main question remains, and it's the same for the question of Pierre about graph investigations. It's just where we want to take that feature, because understanding a graph you have on the screen and just helping you understand and summarize what we were saying is something. Answering a very simple questions and generating filter is something. But then like having like a very more complex question about, yeah, but among those campaigns, which ones are leveraging those TTPs, or which ones are more focusing on this skill chain, and by the way, which ones are involving Russian threat actors, and on which one I have like artifacts on it. So please be do also like an analysis on those artifacts, and then like follow up on that questions. That's a completely different story.
Thank you, Santa. Constant, do you want to answer Pierre right now, or do you?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I was yeah. I'll just I'm sorry to have displayed the comment. I was trying to correct it because there's a typo on mine, but it's fine. So yeah, for the moment, it's for your question, Pierre. Just to remind it, you say that correlation would be applied to what kind of entities? For the moment, it's going to be only entities to start with, because it's already quite difficult to actually have a meaningful way to define what correlation is. It's probably related to what entity we're talking about to start with. And when you say, is it going to include case too? At the moment, this is not something that I'm considering, but depending on what the correlation will be on an entity level, maybe it's going to be a basis to go to a case correlation. This is probably something in this same mechanism I've described before. We're going to do it on a small scale, something that we can control, and then see how we can, move a step further from this. And for the next question, do you plan to add AI capabilities on Playbook to make intelligent auto-labeling or synthesize reports on groupings? I'm not sure. Maybe Samuel, you have something to say
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, Constant. I think it's more about the Ask AI capabilities that we already have. Putting that in Playbook as a middle of an automation. I don't know, you're generating a report, a grouping, etc., and then, like you say, just ask AI to more like generate a more relevant title to the report. Or you have like a little more capabilities about like at the end of a Playbook, when you have built, for instance, a container like a grouping or a report, you say, okay, please, given like this sticks graph, given what I have in this container, what I have in this report, please generate me 5 relevant labels and add that to that report. I think that can something that is a quick win that is quite interesting, Pierre, to be honest, because we already have the capabilities, we already have the questions, and so just adding that to the Playbook is the same with the integration between OpenCTI and OpenBAS. So right now you have the simulate button based on the report, etc. And this simulate button should be able, like, we should be able like to use that in the Playbook just to automate scenario simulations within OpenBAS, just giving like the fact we have that. So yeah, we have like multiple components to develop in Playbooks, and thank you, Pierre. It's a great suggestion to leverage what we already have within the automation.
Okay, thank you, Samuel and Constant. Before the end of this session, I'd like to add like some of our upcoming events. Our next community call will be in February. We haven't finalized the topic yet, so if you have ideas or topics you'd like us to cover, feel free to send me a message on Slack. Also, if you're in Lyon or nearby, we're hosting a community meetup on December 12th. We'll present our roadmap, features demo, and Constant will be there. Me too. So please join us. There's still time to register. I will drop the link in the chat. Okay, I think we have another question from Pierre.
Yeah,
Are you thinking of using
that's another
AI?
Pierre.
Yeah,
Pierre, next time you will
OCR,
come with us on the screen.
Pierre, and yeah, it's a different Pierre. OCR in the NLP process. This is for you, Constant.
Yeah, I know. So this is like the Pareto principle at the moment. This is something that is probably relevant. So optical character recognition, because there's a lot of images in the different files and PDF files that are uploaded on the platform, and that might be useful. There's probably a lot to extract from the images, because most of the time it's code or prompts in sense of command line. So this is something that I have in my mind, but at the moment, I'm not sure it's going to be the first step to deliver the most value to start with. But this is something that could be challenged if you think otherwise. But at the moment, I feel like most of the information that we need to extract is mainly in the text itself. And once we are really good at it, because we didn't talk about it, but you need to extract the entities, but that you need to extract also the relationships, and this is another game, and this is way more complicated to do. So for the moment, no, the strategy would be entities from the text, relationships from the text, and then if we need to look for another source of information to extract relevant entities, yeah, this is something that we can work on, because a couple of tests and POCs proved to be successful with the OCR, with the different images that we had. The problem would be generalization. The problem would be, because it worked on 10 images that I had in a document, it's not going to work on the thousands of images that we have in the documents. So yeah, this is something that I keep in my mind, but this is not really on the critical path for the moment.
Thank
You
you,
don't seem happy
Constant.
with that, Samuel.
No, I'm fully happy. I'm fully happy with that. No
Cool.
problem.
Yep.
Okay, I think that's it for today. Thank you all for attending. Depending on your time zone, I will wish you a great day or good evening, and see you next time.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks. I
Constant
hope you
and
had a great
Margot.
time.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you, Margot,
Bye.
for the organization. Bye.
You're welcome.